set the scene for how we arrived at this high noon top of the table blockbuster. We arrive via a Group I campaign in this open-air bowl of a stadium in Foxborough, situated 20 miles southwest of Boston. Beautifully clear afternoon in Massachusetts. There's been a bit of rain in the air, but it's cleared up for kickoff. The daily high has hovered at around 26 degrees Celsius. And as the players look up into the local sunshine, the heat is not quite as fierce as it has been elsewhere throughout this tournament. It is a little bit warm and humid. Stakes are entirely about group domination, both sides arriving with a perfect 6 points in their opening two fixtures. But let's look at how they did it. France completely took over Group I from day one, dismantling Senegal before executing a highly professional shutting down of Iraq in Philadelphia. Norway has been equally ruthless, launching their campaign with a blistering 4-1 thumping of Iraq, following up with a gritty, emotional 3-2 victory over Senegal to punch their ticket to the knockouts. Because of that single extra goal in the plus column, France holds the defensive high ground. They sit first on goal difference, meaning a draw keeps them at the summit. For Norway, the equation under this afternoon sun is binary. They must win or they settle for second. The atmosphere inside this 60,000 plus capacity venue is electric. The French support is modest in comparison to the Scandinavians. There's a steady rotation of La Marseillaise, which has just finished as the players go to the anthems. The stadium, though, visually dominated by the travelling Norwegian contingent. And while the local authorities might have hiked the return rail ticket from Boston from $20 up to an extortionate $80 for tournament fans, it hasn't deterred a single soul. The overarching storyline of this match took a dramatic, entirely unexpected twist the second the team sheets dropped into the media tribune. For the past 48 hours, the footballing world has been salivating over the prospect of a direct head-to-head shootout between the two most terrifying high-value forwards in modern sport, Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe. They entered tonight completely locked at the top of the individual tournament scoring charts, both netting braces in each of their opening two games. But Norway's tactical mastermind, Ståle Solbakken, has blinked. He's looked at the macro picture of this major tournament and made a calculated gamble that has sent some minor ripples through the broadcast. With qualifications safely tucked away, Solbakken has rested 10 regular starters. Erling Haaland sits on the bench, Martin Ødegaard sits on the bench. It's an explicit declaration that Norway are perfectly content to settle for second place in Group I, a result that likely puts them a date with Ivory Coast in the round of 32, in exchange for keeping their generational assets completely fresh for the knockout phase. France, conversely, smell blood. Didier Deschamps has no intention of playing the calculation game. Les Bleus are hunting for a flawless 3-win group stage sweep, a feat this proud footballing nation hasn't accomplished since their legendary title-winning run back in 1998. With Mbappe leading a highly reinforced line, France needs only a single point to secure a top spot, but their posture is that of a team wanting to send a terrifying message to the rest of the competition. And let's break down those official team sheets for you. Ståle Solbakken has thrown a complete curveball, those 10 changes from the side that defeated Senegal. He's completely stood down his regular heavy hitters to preserve them for the knockouts. Just before kick-off and as we run through the teams, there will be a period of silence in the stadium as both sets of players and all the fans in this ground pay their respects to those victims of the awful earthquake disaster in Venezuela. We too, on broadcast, send our best wishes to those affected in South America, to those horrific moments we've seen over the past 48 hours. But as they pause to reflect on our broadcast, we will bring you that team news. Egil Selvik gets the nod between the posts for Norway tonight. The backline features the lone survivor of Norway's regular starting 11, Fredrik Arsnes, dropping deep to help anchor a defence alongside the entirely unheralded Henrik Falconer, who has just one single international cap to his name. Leo Ostigard and Fredrik Anja Bjorken round out the defensive unit. The engine room consists of Christian Thorsved, Patrick Bird, and the Scousborn Ranger Tello Arsgaard. The creative burden falls onto the shoulders of Fulham's Oscar Bob and Andreas Schelderup out wide, with Crystal Palace striker Jorgen Strand Larsen leading the line as the temporary focal point in place of Haaland. and he's a teammate to try and get past. Didier Deschamps has taken a different approach, treating this match with maximum intensity, but with 4 tactical changes to the team selected to start the win over Iraq. Mike Maignan commands the penalty box from goal. Jules Koundé, Dayo Upamecano and Theo Hernandez join Crystal Palace's Maxence Lacroix in the heart of defence and form the defensive wall. Lacroix and Hernandez, 2 of the fresh faces brought into the side, replacing Saliba and Lucas Digne. Aurelien Tchouameni returns to the starting lineup to anchor alongside Roma's highly impressive engine Manu Kone, with Adrien Rabiot rotating to the bench. Ousmane Dembele, Michael Olise and the dazzling Desiré Doué, who enters the side for Bradley Barcola, operate in a fluid, terrifying line. Leading the line as captain is the central spearhead, Kylian Mbappe. The talking officially over, the countdown on, the flags cleared from the centre circle, and the match official, England's Michael Oliver, checks his watch, waits for the go-ahead and blows the whistle to get this game started. Norway all in red, France in a typically Parisian and French chic off-white, slightly mint green change strip. And already with a chance here, and Kylian Mbappe it is, flying forward on the right-hand side. Olise centre, it's off the crossbar from a tight angle from Kylian Mbappe with 23 seconds on the clock. Doué inside to Manu Kone. Here's Mbappe, trying to keep the ball moving. Strand Larsen gives it away. Here's Maxence Lacroix, his club teammate. Might not be for long though. A lot of reports back in England linking Maxence Lacroix with a big money move to Chelsea this summer. Remains to be seen whether that will materialise. He is one of the jewels in the crown of that Europa Conference League winning Crystal Palace squad. There's Lacroix to Upamecano. And now Jules Koundé, who starts from the right-hand side for France today. On the left here is the Champions League winner Desiré Doué. Back to Lacroix. So Lacroix's first competitive appearance. He only had 2 caps before being named in the World Cup squad. Here's Doué, left-hand side, nice switch of play from Koundé. Doué, it's off the heels of Michael Oliver. Upamecano wanted to take it quicker than Michael Oliver would allow him. To be fair to him, so many players involved, and France really lighting up this tournament so far. You can't really blame him from wanting a touch of the ball, but you can certainly blame Ousmane Dembele for that touch of the ball, as that's off the outside of his left boot, and Norway will have the throw-in. This was the venue where England played up that 0-0 draw with Ghana earlier in the week. And go again tomorrow night, looking to seal top spot in their group. Something tells me this one won't be goalless though. It's Theo Hernandez into midfield for Kylian Mbappe, playing playmaker for the time being. The pass backwards is slightly under hit. Ostergaard had to stretch. They'll pick up the second ball. Lovely little touch from Olise. Challenge from Doué. It's poked away from him by Oscar Bob. Here's Mbappe. Right-hand side, outside the penalty area. Ostergaard, it is who gets a toe to the ball. Well, had Kylian Mbappe's strike gone in, it would have been the 3rd fastest goal at this tournament ever. In time to just 22 seconds, which makes you think, who scored quicker than that? Kone spreads it out wide to Ousmane Dembele. Trying to shake up Yorkan. Here's Koundé, lovely pass into him. And on the follow-up from Kone, pushed away by Watford's Egil Selvik. Kone misses the kick. Doué, left corner of the penalty area. And it was Henrik Falconer who got his head to it to turn it behind for a corner kick, but it's been an absolutely lightning start from France. Stinging drive from Manu Kone. Comfortable enough for Egil Solvik. Here is Michael Elise. Theo Hernandez. Elise lets it run. Here's Desiree Doué, 30 yards from goal. Might open up for him in front of it. The penalty area, it does. Took it on. It's a half-hearted attempt that Selvik will pounce on. A raft of changes from Norway tonight. If there is one side that could probably play their way through the entirety of the tournament with their second 11, it would be their opponents tonight, you might think. The quality in that France squad is something to behold, the strength in depth. Here's Oscar Bob on the right-hand side. Looking for some support. Being forced back in towards midfield. Poked it out to the left-hand side, and that's clever play, because Jules Koundé came flying in with a challenge. And shelled up it was. He just spread his body in front of Koundé. The Barcelona defender drew the contact. No mistake, the free kick's gone the other way. Shelter penalised for a foul on Koundé. Out on the near side, Hernandez. Mbappe. Dembele. Into the penalty area, into the box. It goes, Dembele! Did not take long for France to open the scoring. Ripped into the top corner. It's a brilliant finish from Ousmane Dembele. Stays so wide, he's getting chalk on his boots on that right-hand side. Scored against Iraq 3 days ago. It's Bjorken who's just stepped out of position and allows Dembele the space to run into. Fantastic ball, though, to find him from Kylian Mbappe. Ousmane Dembele had a lot of work to do from that position. There's 3 defenders in his way. Pierces through the wall of red in front of him. Selvik can't react. And Guy Stéphane, the assistant manager for France, thrust his arms into the air. Didier Deschamps back in France after the passing of his mother. I'm sure he's watching on from across the Atlantic. I can tell you it's a little bit warmer than 26 degrees back in Paris. Here's Doué. Mbappe's gone down in the penalty area, but he's getting himself back to his feet. Doué, another shot from just outside the box that Selvik will gobble up. Bob, back to Osnes. Ostigard. Closed down. A formidable duo there, Elise and Mbappe. It's on the touchline for Oscar Bob. He's being held by Theo Hernandez. Norway will have the free kick. Looks like it's going to be left to the captain on the night, Patrick Berg. 8 years ago, his contract at Bodo Glimt was expiring after a miserable run of form, and he was openly contemplating quitting football and finding a normal job, but after re-signing with the club and transforming himself into a powerhouse midfielder, covers some astonishing ground there and ranks as one of the top 10 distance runners in the Champions League group phase this year. What a remarkable campaign Bodo Glimt had. He finds himself preparing for knockout stage football at the globe's biggest international tournament. Upamecano to Tchouaméni. It's given away. Here's Strand Larsen. He couldn't find Bob. It was Lacroix in the way. Shot from a long way out. The pass was on for Jurgen Strand Larsen. Lacroix just got sucked across to his Crystal Palace colleague, but found himself in the right position to make sure that Strand Larsen couldn't find Bob. It's given away by Upamecano. A little bit sloppy. Here's Bob. Sheltered up, just off balance. And Lacroix plays it to Doué. Hernandez pings one out to Ousmane Dembélé on the right-hand side, already on his bike. Running now at Bjorken, twisting and turning towards Kylian Mbappe. Ostergaard gets across, and that's an important toe to the ball. Mbappe was heading away from goal, but when that stopped him. Into Dembélé. Koundé. Tchouaméni. Elise. Trying to use the outside of his boot to steer the ball into the penalty area. Lacroix. Hernandez. Deep towards the back post. Volleyed back across the face of goal. There's no one there for France. And Arsenes plays it against the French attacker. Look at Elise for a Norwegian throw-in. We have a game in Group I. Senegal taking on Iraq. Senegal and Iraq, to be honest, both needing a big win to have a chance of progressing as one of the best third-placed finishers. It's given away on the edge of the box. Here's Elise! And his shot was on target, but just bobbled against the defender. It's beautiful, unselfish link-up play from Kylian Mbappe yet again. Long towards Strand Larsen. Lacroix with the header over his shoulder. Senegal have opened the scoring against Iraq. It's been credited to Diarra. Set up by Abdoulaye Seck. There's a VAR review as well in Toronto, which could see Iraq reduced to 10. That would really help Senegal if they are to pick up that big win and improve that goal difference. Berg's delivery towards the back post. Lacroix away as it headed towards Strand Larsen. He's sheltered up, left-hand side. Needs a bit of support. He's got both Koundé and Elise close to him. Arsenes. Lovely! Strand Larsen with the first touch, but the second was lashed over the crossbar. Brilliant from Jurgen Strand Larsen. Ball came in, took it down with his right, just in front of Dayo Upamecano. just couldn't get over it. Lovely piece of control from the former Wolverhampton Wanderers striker. If he had finished it off, it would have been interesting to see if it stood, considering in that Ecuador-Germany game there was a goal scored, including contact with the head of the defender from a raised boot, and the officials didn't deem it fit to review it by VAR. As it stands, Senegal's goal against Iraq would be sending Scotland out of the tournament. News as well from Toronto and Iraq are in fact down to 10 men after just 30 minutes. It's Anthony Taylor who's the referee, and he's wandered over to the pitch-side monitor and decided that Rebin Sulaka has denied Sadio Mane a clear goal-scoring opportunity. So Senegal could vastly improve their goal difference against a Iraq side that have been battered and bruised throughout the tournament so far. Here's Dembele. It's a fascinating feature of this tournament, the third place qualifiers. Sweden and Ecuador confident of their positions in the next round. It's the sides towards the bottom of that group of 8. The top 8, the best 8 third place finishers will go through as well. Currently, positions 5, 6, 7 and 8 are occupied by Croatia, South Korea, Senegal and Algeria. That's as things stand as well. Croatia have another game to play, as do Algeria, Cape Verde, Belgium and Democratic Republic of Congo in 8th, 10th, 11th and 12th respectively. But it's the goal difference that comes into it here. Senegal's goal against Iraq gives the -2. Here's Mbappe on the left-hand side. Shifted on to his right, drills it towards goal. Selvik didn't know much about it, but reacted. Good save with his right foot. Mbappe tried to give him the eyes, but Bit of a late bloomer, the Norway goalkeeper. North of the border. Spent time in Aberdeen. His father worked on the Scottish side. Significant representation for the English domestic game in the Norwegian squad. And of course as well, you would say in the French squad too, the likes of Lacroix and Saliba. It's Chouameni. Just outside the centre circle, tries to lift one on the left-hand side for Desiree Doué. This is their fourth appearance at this tournament, Norway. After 1938, they were here 32 years ago in 1994, and then 4 years later in France itself. They haven't returned since that point until this edition. Let's shelter up. Well, they can make a mark on the tournament again here. Bjørkan. Patrick Berg. Goal scorer Asgard. A body feint to just evade Michael Olise. Berg. Good limper. Back heel from Asgard. Towards Strand Larsen at the near post. Bit of carnage there. Maignan has tried to pounce on it. And he's helped away by his key teammate, Maxence Lacroix. And Norwegian supporters given something to sink their teeth into now, and you hear that iconic noise away to our left. There's thousands of red-clad Norwegian supporters start to row. Here's Bjørkan. Better from Norway now. Arsnes. Here comes Arsnes. Oscar Bob. Falconer. Ostigard. It's too long, the passer. Arsnes. Let's have a play. A lot of strength in depth on the bench, Norway, but Julian Riasson will be unavailable to them today. Here's Ostigard. Into the centre circle inside his own half of the pitch. Speared forward. Oscar Bob latches onto a loose touch from Theo Hernandez. Maybe a chance for Jørgen Strand Larsen. The pass just slightly too far in front of him. Ruben Meccano got there first. Not a bad opportunity for Norway. Koundé. Ruben Meccano. To the goalkeeper now, Maxence Lacroix. Manu Kone. Chouameni. France into the Norwegian half in the blink of an eye. Now Dembele. And who's lit up this game already. Ousmane Dembele finds Olise. Will squeeze it back to Kone. Slightly off balance, Olise. Theo Hernandez. Doué for Kone. Kone for Chouameni. Now Dembele, right edge of the penalty area. Very congested box. Dembele completes the hat-trick in slightly more than half an hour. Usman Dembele with a fantastic finish. This one low into that far corner. Sublime from Usman Dembele. Spotted by Chouameni. Shifted it onto his left. Uses Asgard and Ostigard as a guide to try and curl it into that bottom corner, and he's done brilliantly there. Norway with almost everyone back in the penalty area. Believing even a Viking wall can't stop PSG's main man. It's Norway 1, France 3, and they've all been scored by Usman Dembele. It's the third hat-trick of this tournament. I'm not sure you would have got great odds on Usman Dembele being one of them. Not much of a return on your investment. Ostigard. Falconer. Strand Larsen. Elise. Still going, Michael Elise. Here's Usman Dembele on that right-hand side. They can't let him cut in. He's trying anyway, lays it off. Chouameni leaning back as he hit it. Selvik will launch it downfield. From Hernandez. Doué. Cute to find Kone. Kone for Hernandez. Early to Mbappe. Tried to take him with him. Ostigard was on the spot to help him out. And Norway have the ball again. Berg. Ostigard. Asgard. Sheltered up. Almost stumbling as he makes his way forward. Tried to find Strand Larsen, but he was caught late there. Sheltered up by Upamecano. Norway with the free kick. Just a little bit untidy from the Bundesliga winner. It's Patrick Berg who stands over this. Berg looking for Ostigard, who made the run on the left-hand side. Apologies if my Norwegian pronunciation isn't quite up to scratch. Ostigard. Either way you want to say it, Norway still have the ball out on that left-hand side. France with some real moments of quality. That's why they lead by such a good margin so far in Boston. But Norway are just going to roll over and take this. They are still trying to make inroads. Ostigard, that's over Oscar Bob's head. Teo Hernandez with the throw into Lacroix. And here's Upamecano. Bit of time. Chouameni does as well. He's Dembele on the right-hand side. It's just behind Elise, and too far in front of Koundé. But going to touch on the ball anyway. And laid off to Chouameni. It's perfect pass by Mbappe. Finds Desiree Doué. It's Ausnes backing away. Some assistance from Oscar Bob, and Norway will clear the danger. Not just Strand Larsen. Gets his head to it, but no one there in support. So it drops here to Bob. Chouameni. Elise. He's threatening to go through the gears there. Now Dembele, the right-hand side. Chouameni. Kone. Doué. Mbappe. Solid challenge from Falconer. Mbappe went down. Oliver moves him back to his feet. Oscar Bob in a bit of a pickle here, but just plot an escape route. Asgard. Fed by Strand Larsen. Sheldrup. Claim of handball, and it did bounce up and hit Jules Koundé, so that will be a free kick just shy of the halfway line in the Norwegian half of the pitch, out on that left flank. Given away, they went looking on the left-hand side again. When asked about this game after they went over Senegal, Erling Haaland said he didn't really care about this one. He says France are through, we're through, France will probably win, France will probably go on to win the whole thing. He's that kind of customer, isn't he? Elise trying to make ground down the right flank. What's to Doué? Here's Lacroix. Dembele. Falconer gives it away. Oh, he's done so well there, Selvik. He's dug him out of a massive hole there. spread himself, got a touch of the ball. Desiree Doué looking to pounce. His shoulder up, left-hand side, into the penalty area, wins the corner off Jules Koundé. So close to a fourth though for France. It's brilliant from Selvik. Stood his ground. Doué tries to go round him. Should probably take that on first time with Selvik not set. Major let off for Norway. Built ball towards the back post. Back onto the face to go by Asgard. There's Ostergaard stooping, but he couldn't make contact. And here come France on the counter. Led forward by Elise. Brilliant pass. Dembele. Tried to set one up for Mbappe. Dembele. Not high. That's too high for Kylian Mbappe. Brilliant header back across from Asgard. It's a great clearance from Upamecano, who's almost backheeled the volley away with Ostergaard ready to apply the finishing touch. Chouameni. Theo Hernandez forward to Doué. Ausnes pokes it free. Kone wins it back as Bob tried to escape. Here's Manu Kone inside left channel, trying to break forward. Selvik again with a really important intervention. It was lovely from Kone. Little give and go with Mbappe. Played on side by Ausnes. Just, I think he took one too many touches there. Manu Kone. Reached the 45-minute mark. We'll find out how much time is going to be added on. 5 minutes. It is. Held off by the fourth official. Torsvet to Oscar Bob. Torsvet on this right-hand side. Played across the face of the penalty area. Asgard holds it up. It's won back by Chouameni. Looks for Hernandez. Now Lacroix. From inside his own box, it was straight at Asgard, but not much about it. To Koundé. Upamecano. On crossfield ball. Taken down by Doué. Lovely switch of play. Here's Desiree Doué approaching the edge of the penalty area. He's taken on a few from this short of range. Will he do it again? No, he won't. He'll find Michael Elise. Elise dicks one out with his right foot. That one's over the crossbar. Even a player of his talent has a preferred foot. And his right is what you might deem his swinger. Upamecano. Doué. And Chouameni here. Elise. A pull back on the Reading and Chelsea Academy graduate. the pass to Elise, cut out by the sliding figure of Torstvedt. Long to Strand Larsen. Kunde for Kone. Teo Hernandez. Desiree Doué. Manu Kone. Torstvedt. Doué for France, just outside the penalty area. Kylian Mbappe. Chouameni. Dembele, right-hand side, where he's been so threatening. Chouameni round the back. As he won the corner. Ball just drifted out of play as he tried to get his cross away. Came back off his knee anyway, so it would have been a goal kick if he had crossed the line. Familiar figure of Egil Selvik standing over a goal kick. Flicked up by Strand Larsen, up and away by Upamecano. There's Elise in a central position. Teo Hernandez. Manu Kone. Mbappe. Dembele. To Mbappe, who's just periodically dropping into midfield. Chouameni. Kone. Doué. Elise, 30 yards from goal. Lacroix. Left edge of the centre circle. Elise. Dembele. Dembele lifted in towards Mbappe. Ostergaard just got his body across and will guide that out of play for a goal kick. 4 goals in this first half. And it's lived up to the billing. Michael Oliver brings that first half to an end. A gilded performance from a man who holds the Ballon d'Or. Ousmane Dembele, with a first half hat-trick, has given France total control of this game. Teno Asghar with a moment of quality of his own, but it's been all about Ousmane Dembele and Kylian Mbappe turning provider. They look set to clinch top spot, at least on this first half performance anyway. France, Norway with 10 changes, and it shows. Second half coming in 15 minutes time, but as things stand, it's a very good performance from France. Norway, though, will hang in there for as long as possible.